Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Jonathan, and welcome back to Money Talks, where we want to offer you financial information and meet you where you are financially so that you're able to stick to your budget, manage to pay off your debt, and begin to save on your path to building wealth. Today, guys, I want to discuss with you the importance of wills, trusts, and how looks can oftentimes really be deceiving. If this is your first time joining me here on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you like this and other content on the channel, go ahead and smash the like button for me. It really helps the channel out. So, wills, trusts, and honestly, when it comes to these items, no one typically wants to do it. It's like taking a trip to the doctor's office. You know you gotta do it, but you don't look forward to it. But the reason why I want to talk a little bit about this topic today is recently in the news, Chadwick Boseman's situation as far as his financial affairs, his wife having to go through probate, and his actual net worth really started to come to the forefront. And by many may be surprised that he's not worth as much as you would think someone of his stature would be, but it seems to be the same consistent pattern, no matter if you're a celebrity, if you're just an everyday guy that works his 9-to-5 job, whatever the case may be, the importance of a will has not struck a chord with many. And it's very important that you see two things in this scenario. Number one, when you leave behind, when you leave this earth, and you will leave this earth, and you don't have a will in place, you make things difficult for your loved ones behind you. Sure, he does have a wife, but because of the way our structure of our government and economy is set up, it's not enough that you have a spousal relationship with somebody. You actually have to have the documents in place. For his wife to now have to go through probate in order to access their marital assets and begin to move forward, that's going to take a lot of burden on her in a time where she's still grieving the loss of the man she loved and committed her life to. The second thing is, when you go to probate, anyone can go to probate. So what if Chadwick had a familial situation, which is not really outlined here, but what if he had a situation where the mother didn't agree with the wife, the sister didn't agree with the wife, or some distant second cousin all the way in another country doesn't agree with the wife, and they all contest and go to probate court. That wife typically doesn't have any leverage in the scenario, but that only that she was a spouse, because nothing, again, was appropriately documented. You know, guys, getting a will and putting a will in place doesn't take much time. But the fact is, when you do that from a financial standpoint, you're setting your family up for clear transition when you leave this earth. And what that means is to go get the will, all your assets are laid out, cousin A, spouse, all that, everyone knows what they're getting, why they're getting it, and then things start to move on. And it doesn't have to subtract or add to the energy that is being expended when, again, this is during a time agreed. But again, that's one piece of this Chadwick equation. But how could he not have such a high net worth, and he was the lead actor in the highest grossing movie of all time? Well, again, a lot of things can be deceiving when you're actually a celebrity. Another good example of this is typically with these celebrities, I want to cover a couple things. With the celebrities and their contracts, in movies, in music, we see it so often in music. But the fact is, there are certain guidelines that these actors have to go through, and often the negotiated price on these, no one knows what this person is going to do. But in movies, it's a little bit more of a chance game than in music. So in music, oftentimes you've seen where managers write these contracts, They let the kids have some such a lifestyle, and the kids then did all these tours and put out all these albums, and I mean they were the face of a nation for 5, 6, 7 years. But the kids didn't get any of that money that was generated during that time. Many examples: TLC, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, New Edition, countless examples of when these managers in the music business have taken advantage of these kids from their talent and actually profited and moved forward. I'll say this because so often we're looking at the success of a celebrity by, again, the cars they drive, the things, the fact that we see them often, the home they live in, all these different things. Yes, but if you really knew how many times an NBA player was living on a ridiculous mortgage and went bankrupt, if you really knew how many NBA players, NFL players, some 70+% live paycheck to paycheck, it would really shock you and put you, not that, oh, this is hearsay, or not that it's, hey, their life must be good. No, they struggle with money just like everyone else struggles with money. And the fact is, in their situation, it's a harder hit because the amount of money that they're generating because of their skill set doesn't necessarily translate to, just because they can generate a lot of money doesn't mean they know how to manage it. And this is just another example of why you need to understand how to manage your money. 2, understand that looks can be deceiving. When someone looks like success, or what you think looks like success, and then it all comes crumbling down when they perhaps leave, when they perhaps are not in the limelight as much anymore, and then someone does a catch up or somebody sees them on the street, it's because they didn't make solid financial decisions. Again, you have to make solid financial decisions in all aspects. These are just examples. It's not to tear them down, but it's helpful. It is helpful for you to understand that these people, they've unmasked a myriad success in their professional careers, in their life. But when it comes to the financial success, that's where no one's excluded from understanding that people do need to make a will. You do need to make a will. You do need to understand how your money works. And you do need to properly plan and spend accordingly to your income. That's the purpose of the budget. That's the purpose of investing. That's the purpose of making sure you maximize what you're doing with your money and not just allowing it to wither away. Because no action on money, it will trickle down. And then again, you'll find yourself wondering what happened to all of it. I don't want to discourage anyone from celebrity, but I do want you to understand from a financial aspect, really understand that celebrity, yeah, I can see someone on TV every day, and you do. But the fact is, they struggle with money just like you struggle with money. And honestly, I would say their struggle, it might be a little bit more difficult only because they have so much of it, and then not making the right decisions has devastating effect. Meaning, if someone lose $100, it might take them a while to make that $100, but that's a lot easier to recoup and a lot easier to go out and work for. But if someone loses $100 million, that's not as hard. And then in the case of Chadwick, if your wife or someone, you have assets and you didn't write a will, or you have assets and you didn't write a will, now your family members are left behind struggling to get what's rightfully theirs. But that could have all been avoided because there are so many things locked up in probate, and there's not a good choice, or that when you have that much of a net worth, it's not a good situation for a wife, a spouse, or anyone to have to go in after you pass. Make a will, guys. Make a budget. Realize that celebrities, they're just like you and I. They struggle with the same problems, and honestly, because it's so large, it amasses to look like a larger problem. You can have financial freedom. You can start today. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.